If you're interested in learning how I launched Zim Excellence, then you're in luck. Sign up for my podcast workshop and learn how it's easier and more affordable than ever to start a podcast. Also, grab yourself a copy of my podcast resource guide, which covers industry terminology, suggested tech setup, in addition to countless free online resources to support your podcast journey. Just head to vongai.com/podcast creation. That's vongai.com/podcast creation. The link will also be down in the show notes. Now, let's start the show. The following episode was recorded on April 1st, 2022. And no, it is not an April Fool's joke. But he is a comedian. We apologize for the delay. Please enjoy. Yo! Welcome to the party. Hello, Makadini Salibanani. My name is Vongai, and you're listening to Zim Excellence, a weekly celebration of Zimbabwe's changemakers and trailblazers. So here's the secret, y'all. Zimbabweans are actually dope AF, and it's just time that we recognize it. So grab yourself a plate of sadza and grab that stony ginger beer, and let the party begin. Welcome to another episode of Zim Excellence. Today, my guest is an actor, writer, comedic skit maker, development practitioner, and digital media consultant based in Harare. Growing up, his parents told him African folktales that sparked his creativity and love for acting and storytelling. His TikTok and Instagram accounts feature humorous yet sometimes educational short skits about the everyday lives of Zimbabwean families. His rise in popularity on TikTok has led to brand endorsements and paid partnerships from NGOs and corporate companies such as Econet, Nash Paint, and Chicken Slice. At the time of recording this, he is currently over 100K followers on the TikTok platform. So y'all, he got all the tips. Most recently, our guest starred in the JAC short film titled The Voices as the lead beau, and he was nominated for a NAMA Award for the Best Social Media Skit. I got the real deal on the show today. Everyone, please welcome Kingslee Kaisi, aka Kingslee ZW.
I really wish you were here to say that in front of my mom. She would have said, what? Are you really explaining my son? Because this is too good to be true.
Kingslee, it is so great to have you on the show, y'all. He is so hilarious. I don't find many Zimbabwean comedians funny, but I don't even know how I came across Kingslee. I think maybe I was like down a rabbit hole, or I clicked one hashtag that led to something. I don't even know. But I just saw his skits and they are so funny. They have such a specificity about the characters. So I can see my own relatives in the skits and the stuff that he does. And he also does this really interesting thing of then linking them to social justice causes in a way that's like educational. But anyway, we'll get into that in a bit. So Kingslee, you are a Zim Excellence superhero, and every superhero has their own origin story. So I'd like to know your origin story of how you started from point A to point B.
Yo, if we start, I don't think we'll finish. We might end up having to get pillows, popcorn, and all those, because the story is literally long. But I guess for a start, I'll just say that I have always been fascinated by storytelling. Storytelling has been something that I have been so fascinated by. And I've also been fascinated by just the aspect of showcasing what I can do, especially when it comes to acting. So for me, it all started in preschool. That's when I found my love for acting. I was born in Jersey, and then I grew up in Mutare. So that's where I did my primary, and I then finished my primary in Harare, and then I went and I did my further study in Bulawayo. So I'll say that I've lived basically in like different cities, and I've had to interact with different people, just being able to see Wanu and being able to interact with them. I actually can speak a little bit of Ndebele. It's such a great thing to be able to speak another language, especially in your own country, apart from just the Shona that I normally do. So yeah, that's just me in a nutshell. Yeah.
That's really dope. Like, you probably know Zimbabwe more than the average Zimbabwe from living in those points, like Eastern
That's true.
Highlands, southern part of
That's
the country, Bulawayo. Like, that's amazing.
Exactly. It has groomed me to understand the lives that people live in different areas of Zimbabwe. And I actually appreciate the lifestyles that people actually live and the way that people interact together. And I guess that's where my love for just using my day-to-day life as my platform for my comedy comes from. So I'm really that observant. I can sit down and just observe people just interacting together, and just it fascinates me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole talent. I feel like you're great at that. Someone that you'd be like the Zimbabwean version of Seinfeld, I guess, because Seinfeld really nails that like observational comedy. I have two questions for you. So, one, you are actually in development. You're still doing it, but that was the field you were in before being in digital consulting and these social media skits. What led you to development? And then what led you to say, oh, I'm going to do these skits and post them on TikTok? We'll start with the development question first, if that's easier.
Okay. So I'll say initially I had intended to do accounting. That's something that I had wanted to do initially before I had chosen development. But then I got a little bit of experience in the accounting field through some friends and some family members who gave me a little bit of experience. And I just came to a point where I was like, I think this is not really something that I would want to pursue as a career. I would want something that would have meaning and something that would give hope to other people. And so that's where development came through, where I then said, no, I want to do something that would give positive change in other people's lives, whether it's me by my own initiative or it's by working for an organization that strives towards that. So that's where I then went and I did my degree in development studies at Lupani State University. So in that whole studying and all that stuff, I got linked with different organizations that sought to bring change in people's lives. The first organization that I worked for was Active Youth Zimbabwe, which was doing initiatives that tried to alleviate the aspect of drug abuse within Bulawayo. So that whole experience and getting to meet children who are taking drugs, youths who are taking drugs, and watching them recover through some of the initiatives that Active Youth brought about, it actually cemented my love for the development field. And I am now working with an organization called Mawambo Orphan Care. They have a lot of programs that they do to help children and to help, their caregivers. And it's such a great thing to be able to be part of an organization that tries to bring positive change in people's lives. And you actually see people's lives change. It's such a great thing to be able to be part of that change. Even though you're not the one who's forking out the money, but you're the one who's actually assisting in facilitating that change. It's such a great thing for me. That's one of the things that I have taken into my process. And of course, skits are now like my other side of it. At the end of the day, that's something that I've always had a passion for. So it's something that I'm now using, of course, because a lot of young people watch my videos. So it's now something that I'm now using to then bring light to some of the things that are bedeviling young people and even older people as well. So yeah, that's just it in a nutshell. Yeah.
It is just so lovely to hear that side of you, because someone could easily find your videos and just assume, oh, this guy does like my drama, my skits, like he's not serious, but you actually have this big heart and this passion for helping people, which is wonderful. Yeah. How did you come across TikTok? Was it like most other people in the middle of the pandemic, or was it earlier around like 2018, 2019 when it first hit the scene?
Truth be told, TikTok came through, but I never was so interested in TikTok before. But then what happened is I had been creating my own content on other platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And some of my friends and some of the people that I knew were like, you could actually do better on TikTok because TikTok is now a growing platform. Why not try it? So I just created an account and then I started posting videos. And then what actually happened is I then thought, what would be the best way for me to make engaging content on TikTok? So I just decided to upgrade the content that I was making. And truth be told, like, people actually started enjoying it. And before long, I started seeing positive change in the followers. And I was now really shocked because I wasn't expecting that much because, come on, are you enjoying this? But people were like, literally, like, people were like on their bellies laughing. And I was like, guys, are you...
Literally, like, you have me cackling, and it is so difficult for people to make me cackle the way you do. Serious? That I was like in his DMs, like, Kingslee, I need Kingslee on the podcast. And then his assistant was like, you can reach Kingslee here. And I was like, here's an assistant. Everyone's probably wanting Kingslee. I'm not going to get Kingslee. But I wanted to ask about when you said you upgraded the content. What was the content that you were posting before?
So before, I would literally just post anything that was on my mind. It doesn't matter whether it has to be a skit or just me sitting in front of a camera and just saying whatever's on my mind. But then when I went on TikTok, I then thought I would want to have a proper base of, if I have characters, if I have the kind of angles that I'm using in posting, and the way I'm editing has to change. And that's exactly what happened. I just changed the whole thing, and then I started putting out that content consistently. And before long, that's when people started chipping in and coming in and commenting and liking and sharing. And that was just about it.
That's really dope. For people who are unfamiliar with his content, what y'all doing? Head to his Instagram or his TikTok right now. But the main kind of format is Kingslee bases it on the home and the family. So you'll have, there's the mother character, there's the firstborn, there's the lastborn, there's the middle child, there's the uncle who came from diaspora or came from the UK with a present. You can do better at explaining, but it's just so specific, which is what makes it so funny. Again, that observational
and you know what? There are like a lot of other characters that I'm still keeping in the box. Like, I haven't put them out yet. Like, I have literally some really funny characters and some really funny videos that I have, but I'm still waiting for a proper time to then put them out. One of the characters that I brought out was the one called Billion, the one from UK. It was a test. Yes. It was just a test to see how people would embrace that character. And I saw that people were actually like over the moon over that character. So definitely a lot of other characters coming out.
Today is a great day to start your own podcast. Whether you have a message you want to share with the world, or you think, ooh, it could be fun to have my own talk show like Vongai, getting started is easier than ever. Here at Zim Excellence, we use Buzzsprout, which is hands down the easiest, most affordable, and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. Start for free and list your show on directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more within minutes. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping and teaching you to succeed. Just check out their YouTube videos. They are filled with tons of information. So join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Sign up today using the link in the show notes or go to vongai.com/podcast creation, and you'll get a $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan. It also helps support the show. So go ahead, sign up for Buzzsprout, and keep me posted on your new podcast. Now back to the show. That was one of the videos that I saw because I discovered him on Instagram.
Okay.
And I remember watching one video thinking, this is hilarious, and then watching another. So one of my favorite skits that you have is the one where you're playing the radio DJ. So there's like this skit where Kingslee is playing a radio DJ. And you know how like those Zimbabwean DJs they just be talking over the song the whole time that you can't even hear the song.
Exactly.
And it was just like, I felt so triggered. I was like, this is so accurate. And like the DJ's giving commentary. I sent it to like my friend Mike Howe over at Voice of America. I sent it to Sibongile. I was like, yo, this dude is so funny.
That video, what really happened was, there was this song that was playing. I think it was Winky D. There was a song, I think it was Area 51. Area 51 when it came out. They started playing it on radio stations. But then the problem was the guy who was DJ was enjoying more than playing the song. Can you hear it? And then he plays and then he cuts the song. Area 51. And like, guys, come on. Like, all I just want to do is just to hear the song.
No, that is literally... We're not going to name radio stations because we don't want enemies. Yes, we'd rather have more friends. But there are so many, like every time I'm in Zimbabwe or I'm in Harare and when we have the radio on, that is literally what DJs do. And I'm like, I didn't even get to the best part of the song. And then the song switches. And what was so funny is like you had that Winky D song play. And then I think afterwards you had Handi Peri Power. It was just like, it sent me because that's when it was the peak of the song being so popular that it just sent me.
It's so boring to play a song and then you start pausing and playing and pausing and dropping the volume and people all that people want to do. That's it. And they're good. Like they feel that they've heard the song. But then if there's commentary, like, so I just had to make that video. I just had to to show people that this is how I feel when these guys are doing whatever they're doing.
I love that that's like you being upset translating into such great comedy. Do you have any favorite childhood memories from growing up in Zimbabwe? Where do you have any things that come to mind where you're like, oh wow, that time when we went to tuck shop and tatenga mafrizits? I don't know, I'm making up examples.
No, I have quite a lot, but I'll just say that the aspect of being Zimbabwean is an experience on its own. There's just so many experiences. Like when I was in primary, we used to have this thing where if you brought food that is tasty or that looks good, everyone would want to come and ask for that food. So as time went along, people started knowing.
That is so real. That happened at Alex
You see that? Exactly. It's crazy. It's really crazy. We used to have this thing where, like, the fancy food that people would bring at school were, like, things like rice and chicken or chicken in. At the time, Nando's and all those restaurants. Exactly. And at the time, like, for me, for instance, there would be moments where I wouldn't bring food, maybe because I wouldn't have packed it at home, or maybe I wasn't feeling like packing it at home, and then I just come to school and then I'm feeling hungry, and then I go to the tuck shop, I buy chips. At the time, there were these chips called Madoing and the freeze-its and stuff like that. So it was just that experience of having to see other people eating their fancy food, and you just feel like, let's go and ask. And you go and you're like, no, bro. Tipo.
Yeah, it was always like the little kids with their hands up like Ndipo, which means I want, or give me. And I just remember this one kid had my things. They're these little like corn snacks in their mouth, and they were just like eating them, and someone came up to them like Ndipo, Ndipo, and that person pushed them away. And these are both like maybe like my grade one, like first graders.
It was crazy.
Just being like, leave me alone.
It was crazy. Like, oh my word. Like right now, I'm literally getting like memories coming, like flooding back. Oh man, there's this time when people would just start fighting. There's this thing where people would just say, do. And everyone just comes around like watching people beat each other up. Like, yo, now that I think about it, it's crazy. God. Like, it's... Fight! And it was crazy. It was really crazy. Like, I have literally so many childhood memories One big one that I still remember, this one is a bit of an embarrassing one, but I guess it's funny. I was staying with my aunt and uncle in Mutare. I had come back from school. I was in grade 2. So I come back from school and then I went to sleep. This was in the afternoon. I went to sleep. So when I went to sleep, I slept at around 3, thereabout. And then I woke up around 6 o'clock, 6:30. So at that time, the sun had not set, but it was a bit slightly dark. So I didn't know. Like when I woke up, I woke up in a little bit of confusion. So when I woke up, I was like, oh my word, it's time to go to school. And I was like, oh man, hey, I'm late because I normally wake up at 5. So it was now like 6:30. I was like, 6:30, yo. And then I went to bath. After bathing, I go and I
went to bath.
Imagine, I'm thinking like it's in the morning and it's now in the evening. And I go to bath.
I'm just imagining your mom.
No, at this time I was living with my aunt. I was living with my aunt and my uncle. My parents were in Harare at the time.
Okay.
So I go and bath. I come back and I change my clothes and I wear my uniform. Like the full uniform with the tie. And I literally do fast. Like I'm like thinking like I'm so late. And I rush to go and tell my aunt, say, I'm leaving to go to school. As I get into the dining room, everyone like looks at me like, and I'm like, I'm late. Ah, my word. The people, they started laughing. They're like,
yo, I had to mute myself. I'm laughing so hard, my cheeks hurt. Kingslee, you were so
it's crazy.
Funny.
It's great. Like people laughed at me.
I'm gonna need you to put out a comedy album or something, please. I'm literally crying.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
My goodness. What did it feel like to be nominated for the Nama Awards? For people who aren't familiar, they are like the National Art Awards for Zimbabwe. So it's if the Grammys, the Oscars, and the Emmys, and all the other arts awards had a baby for a national country, that's the Nama Awards. And he was nominated for Best Social Media Skits. How was that feeling, one, to be nominated, and two, your experience attending the event and getting to see all your peers in the industry?
It was, to be honest, like when I was even told that you've been nominated, it felt surreal. Because this was something that I never would have thought, like literally at the back of my mind, that this would be something that people would actually recognize me for. What I was doing, like my content and my skits and stuff. Like I never thought that people would take me seriously. And just knowing that I've been nominated was, man, like I remember telling my family and everyone was like, serious, you've been nominated for like your skits. It was really that serious. Like people were so happy for me and I was literally happy for myself. I began to think about the time when I started making skits back in 2017 with my cousin, DJ Munya. It was that moment when I realized that dreams do come true. Like at some point in my life, I was like, I would want to be nominated for an award. And that was in 2017 when I was literally starting out and I was like, I would want to be nominated for something. And that process, getting there and getting to hear your name being called out to say, we are nominating Kingslee Kaisi in this category. And not just a category with just random people. Like we're talking people that I've literally looked up to from the moment I started making my own content. Like you're looking at Madam Boss. You're looking at Comic Pastor. These are not like small people. You can't just walk past them in the town and just say, it's Madam Boss or it's Comic Pastor. Like literally I've met both these people and when you see them, they're like an energy and just rubbing shoulders with other people and other artists at the award show was even a much greater experience because I got to see that people actually do watch my content. To be honest, I never thought people watched my content. Like, okay, when I say people, I mean like I never thought certain artists would consider my
yes,
content.
Kingslee, I was gonna say, am I not people? Am I not?
You are more than people. You are literally more than people.
I am
You are
excellent.
Yeah, you're cut above the rest. But yeah, you know, it was such an amazing feeling being around big names at the Namawas. I remember when I was sitting down, like just a few meters, or not even a few meters, just behind me was Felinandi. Can you imagine? Like behind me, like Felinandi was sitting next to me. And then just across, Minister Kirsty Coventry was there. And then you're looking at Tammy Moyo was just on the other side. KVG. Miss Red was on the other side. Other business people like Shaky Timburo was there. And I was like, yo, I'm in the presence of greatness. And just being able to be here, I feel great. And I'd want to elevate myself to a point where people can actually recognize me without having to say, who's that guy? But it was a really great experience. It actually gave me the boost that I needed to continue doing my skits and to actually do better in improving what I do. So it's the reason why I'm really taking my time and really putting a lot into my craft to try and make it match not just like the national appeal, but now international. So it's crazy.
That is absolutely wonderful. What would you say is your hope for the arts industry in Zimbabwe, and what do you think that we can do to encourage our community to be more supportive of our endeavors, whether it's the arts, art creation, or these skits that are going online? Especially because you find that some of these skits or these web series or these shows are being fully put on YouTube, but there isn't like a monetization behind it. So it's like artists could be profiting more from the creation of like their content, especially in Zimbabwe.
One thing that I've always wanted to see in the industry is collaboration. I've even told myself that this year, in as much as, people are used to me posting content on my own and things like that, I would want to just bring other people on board and collaborate with other big names out there to see how far I can push myself in the industry. But at the same time, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of support financially to fund the initiatives brought by artists and even creatives. We're looking at films, we're looking at movies, all those things, they need funding and they need financing. But I guess people would want to believe that this is something that can be pulled off for them to actually put something in there. So yeah, I guess that's the other issue. But at the same time, collaboration is really important. We can never get anywhere without doing it together. In as much as there's a saying that goes, if you want to go, I don't know if they say, if you want to go, if you want to travel a journey, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to go as a collective, as a group. I don't have anything bad to say about anyone, but to say that I'm really interested in collaborating with other content creators and to see how far our craft can go together, regardless of where we are.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I think it's an African proverb, or it's been cited as an African proverb. It's an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely believe in that. I know we talked about that when Joe was on the show.
Oh, I love Joe.
Joe is so great. You and I should be in a movie together or some sort of something together, and Joe should film it.
He should. Like, is it manifest? Like, that's what I feel like people should, like, literally put more time. If you look at other countries like Nigeria or Kenya or South Africa, they do like literally everything together. Like, you see one actor and another one just doing things together, and they don't mind sharing followers or pulling each other up. They don't have a problem. Like, if you're better than me, you're better than me. There's nothing wrong with that.
There isn't even a thing as better than, I don't think. I think it's just like different.
Exactly. We all have our different colors. We have our different stripes. So...
And different audiences, different ways of communicating things.
So at the end of the day, we all have a chance at the pie. There's no such thing as If he eats the pie, there won't be anything left for me. So it's better the better I steal it from him, or it's rather better I do this to him. Because at the end of the day, the pie will always be there.
The scarcity
It's
mindset.
enough for everyone. There's no point to try and say, there's no need. We can literally grow together and be better together and rub ideas off each other and become the best version of our own selves. Yeah.
Amen. Okay, Pastor.
Yes, can I go deeper? Yeah, deep.
And it's tracking. I wanted to ask you about, so you got to star in a short film. It was your first as a lead. Congratulations. You played Bo in the movie The Voices, which was part of the JIC Film School.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know a little bit more about how did you get this opportunity or hear about it? Did you audition for it? And what drew you to the project?
Okay, so I was approached by the scriptwriter and the director, Lloyd Munanga. He told me he was interested in having me perform and act in the film. I was called in for an audition and I auditioned, and the panel was interested. They were happy with the way that I had auditioned, and they cast me as the lead protagonist in the film, which was a great honor because it was my first time being in a short film that is being made by someone else. And just being able to be in that was a whole experience altogether because it was somewhat different from what I was used to doing in my skits, because when I'm in my skits, I'm in my own zone. I do things at my own time, in my own pace, and I do things like the way I want to do it. But now, when I was now in this short film and we were now shooting the scenes and rehearsing and all the stuff, yeah, you get to realize that now I'm literally part of something big and I have to really do better than what I've been doing because it was like a step ahead more than what I was doing. It was a really big experience for me, and I'm glad that I acted it out very well. It was my first time, so of course people will be like, you're here, you're neither here nor there. But I'm glad that to some of the people who actually, in fact, quite a number of people who watched it, they actually enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm hoping that in future I'll get more roles, because at the end of the day, that's another goal of mine, to be able to act in, whether it be a film, a movie, a series, whatever it is, just being able to showcase my talent of acting in front of many people. So yeah.
You heard that, y'all. Kingsley is trying to be booked and busy. So hire him and cast him in your projects. And pay him well.
Of course, yeah.
Because as you can see, he got 100K followers. So you got to pay him well.
Soon to be a million. Hopefully.
Soon to be a million, he said. Could you tell us the premise of the short film and where people might be able to watch it?
So initially the film was for a competition, I think in Europe. But the synopsis is that you, who is the lead protagonist, is sent out of university because of certain issues that are affecting his studies. And that leads the lecturer or the lead lecturer to tell him that the university cannot continue paying for your fees anymore. So you have to go. And so he then books a flight, goes back home, but then he now has to somewhat face the issues that surround his life and that surround where he comes from. And now this brings about a whole dramatic aspect of having to face the demons that are bedeviling his life and the demons that are bedeviling whatever that he's going through. But at the end of the day, it's just a suspense of what is going to happen to Bill with regard to everything that is affecting his life. Because now that he's coming back home, he's now facing a lot of stuff, and what is going to happen next. So it's really a nice story, and it has a very good background that actually brings about its uniqueness. So I would really encourage a lot of people to go and watch it. It's available on YouTube, on the JAC Film School. You can just type The Voices JAC Film School and you definitely see it popping out.
Awesome. We're going to put the link in the show notes. So I have one final question for you before we do our lightning round. It is a 2-in-1 question, which means it could be answered as one answer, or you could split it into 2 answers. Depends how you're feeling. So how do you practice self-care to avoid burning out in between producing, editing, posting your skits, and also working as a digital consultant and also working in development? And what keeps you going when times are hard? Because I know when I open up my Instagram to do reels, let alone TikTok, it takes a lot out of me to just post a reel. Think about when I have to do like a self-tape audition. By the end of it, I am just drained because I do take after take. So the fact that you're able to just put out these skits and they're golden and you have all these followers, I know you must go through burnout at some point.
Yeah, it's not really much. I wouldn't say burnout, but I would say that, of course, there are moments where you get to a point where you reach, I would say maybe you feel fatigued. Yeah, I would say, what would be the best way to say?
Yeah, fatigued works. I relate to fatigue. I relate to fatigued and anxious.
Yeah.
Those are my words.
But for me, to be honest, I've been doing these skits for a long time. And it didn't just start in 2017. Like, it started way back when I was in high school. So I have been able to build that resilience. And because I enjoy it, it's no longer something that comes very difficult to me, because it's something that I literally enjoy. But of course, self-care is very essential. What I normally do is I sometimes give myself time off the platforms and just to reflect on myself, meditate, just being me. But at the same time, I'm a firm believer of Jesus Christ. So I normally take my time to go to church and fellowship with others and be able to be in a place with other believers where I can actually just be free to be me in the presence of the Lord. So that whole aspect, it's something that just suppresses anything that might be happening, whether be it like fatigue, depression, and all those things. So just being able to be in that space and also being able to interact with a lot of people. I have a lot of people that I talk to, but there are certain people that I talk to much, and just being able to talk to them on a regular basis, it just gives you that it's gonna be good at the end of the day. So yeah.
That's really great. Are you ready for our lightning round?
You know we are ready.
Okay, lightning round. What is your zodiac sign?
Aquarius.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am both. I can sleep late and wake up early.
But what would you prefer?
I would prefer waking up early. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like to read books?
Books are my favorite.
Okay, last book you read.
Shut Up and Make Money.
Shut Up and Make Money by Mudiwa.
Hood. Yeah, the musician from Zimbabwe,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll have to look that up. I will message you afterwards. We're going to have that in the show. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show from this past year?
I would say for the TV show Peaky Blinders. I got me on my knees. And then maybe a favorite movie, I would say Fireproof. That's been my favorite movie that I've watched recently. Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would...
So a superpower that I would want to have would be being able to hear other people's thoughts. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's that? Wait, there's a name. It will come to me later and I'll be kicking myself. Do you have a favorite Zimbabwean musician? This is a controversial question to ask because then the other musicians will be like, why is it not?
For me personally, I haven't yet found a favorite because okay. Of course, yeah, Tuku, the likes of Macheso, the likes of Baba Nicolas Zakaria, James Chimombe. I literally have a good love for all the musicians that were before and the ones that are booming now. I love just being able to feel all the kind of music that people are now bringing up and the music. If you look in my music playlist, you'll find that there are literally a lot of musicians that I listen to. But I'll say that my all-time favorite is Bob Marley. My all-time favorite.
Oh, yeah. I did say Zimbabwe, but he is kind of Christian. Okay. What is your favorite Zimbabwean childhood snack?
This lollipop called Big Boom. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, I haven't heard of this lollipop. Someone will know it though.
And then there was Cascade, obviously. And then there were these chips called
You like
the chipsticks.
Cascade? Oh, Kingslee, we can't be friends. Me realizing I just said that and the people at Cascade are gonna send me an email.
They'll come to,
I'm just gonna say it is not for me.
What are you talking about? Why? Have you tried it before? Great things right now.
I grew up in Zimbabwe.
Currently, they're doing great things with that.
There are new flavors?
They're new flavors and they're new...
Wow, Kingslee is even being sponsored by Cascade to hype them up on the show. Okay, speaking of drinks, wow. It is time for the most controversial of them all. Are you ready?
Okay, let's go.
Mazoe versus Mazoe Green.
Mazoe Orange. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Come on. Mazoe Green. No.
Okay.
Mazoe Orange, yes.
So the next one is a power statement. It starts, I am Zim Excellence because blank. And you fill out the statement.
I am Zim Excellence because I'm on my way to the top.
If you could nominate someone for the award of Zim Excellence, who would it be?
Okay, so I would say Nandi. Feli Nandi. I would really say Feli Nandi. Yeah.
Cool. And if you would nominate someone to come on the show called Zim Excellence, who would it be?
To come on the show? I would say Astra Skits. Definitely Astra Skits.
Cool. Kingslee, this has been great. As we wrap up, I would love it if you could share a message with our listeners, as well as letting them know where they can continue to follow your journey, whether that's website, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. You don't have to spell it out. We'll have it in the show notes.
Yeah, I would like to say to all the listeners out there, thank you for the support that you've given me. I cannot thank you enough, but to just say that content is coming out and please do take your time to support, share, like, and comment. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My handle is KingsleyZW.
That is so awesome. Kingslee, yo, it was a party.
Yo, it was a party.
You are hilarious.
We need to do this again.
You had me laughing like an April Fool. Sorry.
It was a good thing we had it on April Fools. Imagine if everything that I said was a lie. Yo, just imagine.
Oh my God.
How do you even know it's Kingslee?
He's so silly. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Zim Excellence. All the links and resources mentioned in this episode will be down in the show notes. Have a great week, everyone. Thank y'all so much for coming to the party. Majita tatenda siyabonga. Nah, for real. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Zim Excellence. If you found value from this episode, please share it with a friend and go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review. If you send me a screenshot of your review, I'll make sure to give you a shout out on future episodes. Feel free to tag us on Instagram at Zim Excellence Podcast. And if you identify as Zimbabwean, I want to hear your story, so go ahead and email zimexcellencepodcast@gmail.com. Till then, have the best week and stay Zim Excellent.